Washington, D.C. And the reason why, and I explain it and show the meaning of the number 555 numerologically. And, of course, if you translate that into inches, it's 6,660 inches. They don't count the zeros in numerology, so that's 666. But back to this architectural colossus, I ask myself, who is behind this? I see these buildings, I see these monuments. Who did this, and why are they continuing at a frantic pace to build up a new paradise or kingdom of Satan on earth? And then I found out that the architects behind it are members of the secret societies, the Black Lodges. And as you know, Alex, they've spawned scores of subordinate organizations. There's the Scottish Rite with its headquarters in Washington, D.C. They live in, by the way, they worship in a tomb, literally a tomb, a mausoleum in Washington, D.C., and I picture that in the book with all its fabulous phoenix serpents and its black altar. And when you imagine that many of the senators and even former presidents have gone there and drank wine from a human skull in the sanctuary of this tomb in Washington, D.C., and I picture it. I did not know, for example, until I began research for this book some 20 years ago, that under the Great Rotunda, that's the central section of the tripart capital of the United States, there is a crypt for dead bodies. A crypt under the rotunda. Nobody ever goes and visits there, but they have a crypt for the dead. And I think that is very curious. These people, as you've said before, are fascinated with the dead.
Well, we know that's where the Hellfire Club with Benjamin Franklin in England, they had their orgies in crypts.
They did, and, they have now found an astonishing site in the place where Benjamin Franklin lived, in the building where he stayed when he was in Great Britain and lived there for a while. They found many dead bodies in the foundation. Of children. Yeah, it's astonishing.
And they date back.
The Hellfire Club.
And they date back to
the beginning of the modern Illuminati.
Exactly, and it dates back to when he lived there.
So these are secret societies: the Grand Orient Lodge, the Grand Lodge of Jerusalem, the Scottish Rite, the Order of Skull and Bones, the P2 Propaganda Lodge in Italy. All of them are building these incredible things around the world.
Tex, stay there. We're going to continue to talk behind the scenes right now, and I want to continue going through the book, and I've got so many questions about different architecture, different things that I'd never seen before.
We're on the mark.
Okay, Tex, let's continue here. When did you decide to do a part 2 to Codex Magica? When did you decide to do Mysterious Monuments?
Alex, actually, Mysterious Monuments was a book I began in 1987. And for some reason, I attribute it to God, I was delayed in doing it. I don't know why. I felt like it would be my most important book, but I kept delaying it, and I would do other books. I've now done about 42 books, but I would just keep delaying it for some reason, and I would keep gathering more and more knowledge. Now I understand why. Because now these people are attempting to bring to completion their new world order. And everything is being set up now for the finale, that mankind will be in a great slave plantation. This is reality. I know now that God wanted me to wait until after Codex Magica, which shows their secret hand signs, their secret rituals in plain sight. And now we have this architectural, we're talking about something tangible. You can see, you can visit, you can study, and it's across the globe. And I realized that God wanted people to know, just a few people who really are truth seekers, the truth about these things, and now been able to include many of the newest monuments, entire cities in Brazil, in Kazakhstan, going in South Africa. They built what they call the Lost City, or the Sun City, with phallic towers. And they are conducting human sacrifice rituals, is my understanding. They're in Sun City in South Africa, where all the gold and the diamonds are. In Moscow, they're Sir Norman Foster, architect of Great Britain, is designed a great crystal island, an incredible building. On page 229 of my book, it's pictured. It's like a huge lotus flower Now, the lotus is an ancient occult symbol, and it's very important sexually. It indicates the male diamond or phallus entering the flower of the female. All of this is nothing but one gigantic evil sex cult. And this is the reason for this gigantic building, incredible, going up on Crystal Island in Moscow. So Brazil, South Africa, United States, Russia, all these things are being built. And, of course, again, goes back to the ancient roots. In front of the Louvre Museum, the old ornate Louvre Museum.
I'll tell you what, stay there, Tex. We're going to come back to the full audience in just one moment. And, let's just walk through the book for people to try to give them an idea. And then I want to ask about the Rothschild section. I want to ask about the Pope going to this weird Catholic church that's a giant pyramid with an all-seeing eye. Let's go over that right now. Here we go. Texe Marrs is our guest. The new book, Mysterious Monuments, Encyclopedia of Secret Illuminati Designs, Masonic Architecture, and Occult Places. You can get that new book and also Codex Magica at Infowars.com. PrisonPlanet.tv folks are obviously watching us live on the web right now. We've got the document cam going showing the book. Also, of course, we're here interviewing Tex. We've got his website up on screen a few minutes ago. We'll put that back up there, TexeMarrs.com. There's also PowerOfProphecy.com. We have links to that up on Infowars.com. Before he leaves us, we'll tell you several times how to get a free complimentary copy of his newsletter. I was visiting my uncle this weekend, and right there in his office was the copy of the new newsletter, a big one this month. You can get on the free mailing list to get a free monthly newsletter as well. In fact, since I mentioned it, Tex, before we go any further, tell folks how they can call and get a free copy of your newsletter or find out about some of the other books and videos that you've made or written.
And by the way, our newest newsletter, and you're right, it's a big edition about mysterious monuments, and there's probably several dozen pictures and images of amazement in that, and we'll give it to them absolutely free if they'll just call our toll-free number, and that's 1-800-234-9673. They don't have to order anything. They can just say, I'd like the free newsletter, the new edition, and we'll send them that newsletter. It'll be out within a couple of days. Again, they don't have to buy anything. Nobody's going to ask for anything other than their address, so we can send them the newsletter. That's all. And
it's nice. This one looks like it was 8 pages, and it's just all jam-packed. And that newsletter is a good little tool to give somebody to. Tex is really good at getting people to become interested in something the way he presents it, because he's able to telegraph how amazing all this is. Tex, now let's get into the book. I mean, there's so many areas to cover, so many facets, so many angles. I said 15 minutes ago, where do we start? And you have started and you've covered so much. I'm tempted just to ask you about, different sections of the book or different areas. But I think, first off, seeing all of this, they want to bring in this one world government, as you were just saying. They believe now is the time. They believe they're in a hurry to get this done. So can you describe their basic cosmology? And then seeing this, there's all these different cults, but they have the same central ideas in them. And then when you look at the leaders of all the different Rosicrucians and the Masons, you notice it's a few hundred people are the heads of all these major groups, and they're part of other elite groups. Hence, the symbol is the pyramid for compartmentalization, and they set up all of their institutions along these lines. So if you can, give us their end game or their big picture and what they believe all these new cities they're building, what they believe those do, what they're building towards, this global plantation that you mentioned. And then I want to basically break down then some of the details of that you cover in your book. I mean, basically what I'm trying to say here is they're building their new world order. Why do they believe